It's actually the instinct, of the craft person, which is still alive in him. So he works with his hand. It's manual, and he loves that. He wants to do things by himself. That's why, if he does murals and paints the entire building, he does it all by himself.
That's right.
And that is, I think, the one sort of particular thing which pins him down to think that it is something which you can do with your own hand. I think it is Gandhian, to my mind. Do it what you can do with your own hands. Try it. You may fail, but try it and take risks. And he has done that, which we learned from him.
In Manida, I found, of course, it's very modern, his works.
Right.
But there is a link with the living tradition. He himself says this is a living tradition.
Yes.
Not just art and craft or craftsmen or artisans. It's a living tradition of our culture.
Right.
So that's why, I want to bring certain things which he has written several times about our own living tradition.
He's got thousands of years of everything that we've all had in terms of culture, history, art, whatever you like, at his fingertips. So when he's actually creating, I've often heard people asking him things like, so how long does it take to complete a painting? And he's always snapped his fingers and said, that's the time it takes, because all of the prehistory comes into that single moment. When he's executing, it just happens.
He's a very dear friend of mine, although he's much older than me. We have known each other for 50 years. The very fact he's from Kerala, studied in Shantiniketan and worked in Weaver Service Center Design, and then taught in the Faculty of Fine Arts in Vishavara, in MS University. So he is this multifarious person. I knew Ramkinkar Bej, his guru. When I was a young artist from Bombay, I used to go to Shantiniketan in the late 50s. And after Ramkinkar Bej, I think there is one artist who is a total artist.
There are perhaps two sides. Many people think that Manida and the whole Shantiniketan school is largely drawing based.
That's right.
And linear, which is not untrue, but in the case of Manida there is this additional thing that while a lot of it is graphic, but his use of color is much more precise and much more kind of thought out. Very clear understanding of how color behaved, and I think at least from the 70s he has been more sensitive towards that aspect.
So there's poetry, there's all these wonderful things on art, because he's constantly being approached for all kinds of things, on issues of public art, in which he has not just opinions but solutions, because he's the kind of person who will write you a scathing letter about some art education thing, but it just won't end there. The letter will have a solution, an agenda, a possibility. This is how you do it.
There is an essay which is, to my mind, is a seminal essay. It's called Art and Religion in India.
Okay.
It's a short essay, but I think it's classic. It talks about the layers in which our culture exists. And he says, how many layers, and where do you enter? You can enter from here, come out from there, enter again, and how do you read? And I think that, so how does it come? It comes to him so naturally and so spontaneously. So even I think with regard to the way language is used, I would say that there is also, similarly, as in his work, a kind of spontaneity which you notice.
So there's a kind of dailiness to what he writes, what he paints, and it all happens. Shobhanath used to say that. I don't know how this money does it. He's constantly writing at the same time, he's painting, I just do one thing at a time. So,
I would put it in a slightly different way. We are all lazy. We don't use the time that we have at our disposal. Mani Sahib uses all the time that at his disposal. So he can do things. So he sets an example. So you can do it. What is it? You have plenty of time. And you while it away, in all kinds of things. But he puts it to use. He makes something, he writes.
Really amazing. He worked, used so many medias. And, it was seamless from one media to another. And that is amazing. And what I found, he's such a great painter, great artist. But yet, so down to earth, and I found a bliss in him.